What's up everybody? CJ McFarland here, and today I'm showing you how to squat without a rack. Now, I know it's not feasible for everybody to go out and spend, $1,000, $1,500 on a power rack. So we are going to discuss the next best options if you do not have a rack that you can squat out of. Now, I know that there has been a large increase of people building out garage gyms and home gyms. So I want to give you all the option on a couple of different squat variations so that you can still see some of those leg gains that you were seeing when you were at the big commercial gyms. So whether you only have bands, kettlebells, dumbbells, I'm going to give you 3 different variations that you can do to still increase that leg size without having one of these bad boys. The first variation that we have today is squatting with a band. Now, I know that these bands are extremely popular because for about 3 to 4 months, these were sold out within every fitness company. So I know that there are a lot of people out there with these bands. So squatting with this band, you're gonna put this band around the traps, right? Make sure that it's not on the neck. You don't wanna crank on that cervical spine because if you do that long enough or with a heavy enough band, you will get a little bit of pain in there. So put it right there on the traps. You're gonna hold it away from the body. You'll step, get adjusted, and then from right here, go into your squat. Now, whenever you're done on that last rep, you'll squat down, lean slightly forward, pull that band off, all right? That is the easiest way to get out of that position. So even if you have, a rack, kettlebells, dumbbells, this is still a variation that you can keep within your training cycle as an accessory movement. The second option that you all have is to do a goblet squat. Now this can be done either with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. What you'll do is you'll take your weight, you're gonna hold it up here. So you wanna make sure to keep those elbows in and that they're not flared out. Elbows in, get into your stance, and then go into your squat. And then return it back down to the floor. Now, if you're doing that with dumbbells, you'll do it the exact same way. However, you're gonna let that round portion of the dumbbell, the side of it, sit right there in the palms, and you'll go into the squat the same way. Now, the goblet squat movement and the next movement that I'm gonna show you is very similar to a front squat. This is going to activate a little bit more quads. And what I'm gonna do is, if you just hold on for a second, let me show you this other variation. I'm gonna show you some other ways that you can alter the movement and target different muscle groups. Now for the third variation, you're gonna do a front racked squat with either dumbbells or kettlebells. So you have the option on this one. Now what you'll do is you'll squat down and you're gonna deadlift your object up. Get it right there. You can bring them up to here. You wanna make sure that if you're using dumbbells, the dumbbell is somewhat supported on the shoulder. So from this position, you'll adjust your feet, big breath. And then whenever you're done, drop them down on the floor. You want to make sure that whenever you release that weight, that you do it in an anatomical correct position. You don't want to hurt yourself. Now, if you are using kettlebells, then what you'll do is, same thing, you'll pick them up, you can swing them up, catch them right there in a front rack position. Make sure that the kettlebell is being supported by the arm right there. You don't want them out in front like this. You don't want those elbows high. Keep those elbows here. You'll go into your squat and then back up, all right? So very similar to that dumbbell variation. Whew, them squats. Should have warmed up for this. Whew, bald head's gonna be looking shiny. All right, now to the educational part of this video. So there are a few things that you need to know if you are going to take this route of squatting without a rack. Now, I'm not sure if it's obvious or not, but you will not be able to do what you back squat with one of these variations. For example, if you squat, let's say 225 pounds, I can't even imagine holding a dumbbell that's 225 pounds. Second of all, think there's only like a handful of those in the world. Holding one of those right here and going into your squat. So you won't be able to get necessarily the exact same stimulus. However, there are a few things that you can do to increase your time under tension, which is TUT, to elicit a stronger stimulus. Now, how do you do this? This is going to be done one of three ways. Now, these options, you can either do what we call a 1.5 rep or a pulse rep. Now, this is done by going down into your squat, coming up about halfway, back down into the squat, and then all the way up. This will increase per rep the amount of time under tension that tissue is under. Second, you can do an eccentric focused squat. An eccentric based squat is you going down into the squat for a desired amount of time. Now, 3 to 4 seconds is the most desirable for this method. So taking about 3 to 4 seconds on the way down, and these are actual seconds, not 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4, and then work your way back up. The third way to alter time under tension is going to do an isometric. So isometrics can be performed at any part of the movement. However, for these specific modalities, I prefer them to be either on the way down or at the bottom of the movement. So what you can do is squat down a couple of inches, pause for about 3 seconds, and then finish the movement. Or you can do it to where you squat all the way down to where your legs are parallel to the floor, 3-second pause, and then come up. So these 3 different methods can be applied throughout your entire program. So if you wanted to do a phase of 1.5 rep squats, and then maybe another phase, 3 to 4 weeks of eccentric based squats, and then maybe another 3 to 4 weeks of isometric squats, that's totally fine. And actually, that would be the preferred way to go about this to increase the amount of stimulus that you are delivering your body throughout your training program. Now, the final part of this video, this is going to be how to change or alter the muscles that you are trying to recruit through this movement. Now, I told you guys at the beginning of the video I would get to this. If you fast forwarded, then here you go. If you stuck around, thank you very much for increasing my watch time. Now, I'm going to give you 3 different ways that you can alter your foot position to change the muscle tissue that you are targeting. The first way that we're going to do this, we are going to go with the heels elevated squat. Now, this is a more narrow squat pattern. Now, this is going to target the VMO. That is going to be the inner portion right above the knee, that muscle that just bulges out whenever you're squatting. The VMO is one of the most desired muscles by everybody out there. Everybody wants to wear those shorts and have that VMO popping. Now, for this variation, you're gonna stick either, a 2.5, a 5-pound, or a 10-pound plate underneath your heels. This elevation on the heels forces the knees to go a little bit more forward and activate more of the quad muscle. The second variation that I'm gonna give you is just basically hip width apart for the feet. Feet aren't elevated, feet are flat. You can do this barefoot, with shoes, whatever you'd like. This is the standard foot position of all squats. Everything is pretty much evenly activated between the quads, the hips, the glutes, so there's not one specific muscle that you're going to build with this. It's just overall leg strength. Now, for the third variation, this is the last variation of this video. So this is a wide stance squat. This is what people would call a powerlifting squat or even a sumo squat. This is going to build the hips and the glutes and the hamstrings. So a lot of posterior chain. And there you have it. That is how to squat without a rack. So just to recap on what we discussed, you can squat with resistance bands, you can do a goblet squat with either kettlebells or dumbbells, or you can do the front rack squat with either kettlebells or dumbbells. Now, these are all great variations and have their place within everyone's program. So apply it however you desire into your program. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash the like button and hit subscribe for similar content. I did something similar like this on how to bench press without a bench, so I'll be sure to tag that up here so you can go ahead and click over. Until next time, stay strong.